In this video, I'll be sharing the email outreach strategy that we use to generate 10 to 20 calls every single week. This will work for anyone selling a high-ticket offer, whether it be coaching, consulting, agency, or even SaaS. We'll go through the actual copy that we use to generate conversions and replies, talk about the tools that we use to actually make this entire process more automated, and how we even optimize for email deliverability so that your emails actually end up in your prospect's inbox. That being said, we won't be talking too much about list building right here. So if you want to learn more about that, just click on one of these links above so that you can actually see that section in a bit more depth. By the way, this is part of a free mega course that goes extensively into everything that you'll need to know about growing your business and acquiring clients online, and how to do so scalably and repeatably. So if you want to see the entire course, then just click on the link below and you'll be able to see it for yourself. All right, so you can see my screen right now, and I actually just want to share with you first off the tool that I use that makes my life a million times easier to run email campaigns, and it's called Reply.io. You can actually sign up for a free trial using a link that I provided in the description box below. The purpose of it is to allow you to essentially automate out your sending of emails so that you can cover significantly more ground. As you can see, I've built a bunch of campaigns here. I have a pretty solid track record in terms of creating good campaigns. You can see all my open rates for all the campaigns that I've ran are 50, 60, 70%. Some of my reply rates are 5 to 10%, which is pretty impressive given that most people running email outreach campaigns are lucky to even get 2 to 3% these days. That being said, I actually want to share with you the copy that I use, because it's really important that you understand the strategy behind how to create an email campaign that generates results. Because most people do not do cold email in a way that gets results. And you probably have seen this for yourself because people have prospected you, sending you really annoying outreach. Here's an example where there's clearly no research. He's just asking me for a call, even though there's like really no sense of relevancy to me. Like I don't really require any development at all. So they're just blasting probably 1,000 emails a week or 1,000 emails a month, and it's a pure numbers game. And they probably have under a 1% reply rate, which frankly isn't the way that I think you should be doing outreach. So if that's not the way to do outreach, how should you do it? Let me show you. All right, so I'm just gonna open up the sequence that I've built and show you the copy for the first email that I'm launching. So here is the basic gist of it. I'm not gonna read the entire thing out for you, but I'm gonna say, hey, I know that you're probably tired of people just spamming your inbox and making massive claims that they have no evidence about. I'm not gonna do that. I actually just wanna give you something for free. I made a free video course that specifically helps people like you overcome a specific issue. If you want it, just let me know, reply yes, and I'll send it over for free, no strings attached. So you get the idea, right? I've talked about in other videos and earlier in the course where sending out a lead magnet and providing free content is really valuable. And if you just straight up ask for a sales call without doing any research or having zero pre-built relationship with that person, they're never gonna respond. However, if you're instead saying, hey, I have this thing that I know can help you, it's much, much easier for them to respond. And they'll say yes, then you can just send it over, but start asking questions. All right, like, why did you want this asset? What is it that you're trying to overcome right now? What are your problems? And maybe from that back and forth dialogue that you've now earned, you'll be able to book the call. But even if they don't respond to any attempts for dialogue, if they do in fact watch and consume the free asset that you have, and you've actually spent the time to make it good, then you're gonna have a much, much higher likelihood of them ultimately booking a call with you. And by the way, something else which is a real benefit to using this strategy is if you have a lot of people replying, it actually makes your email domain health stronger. And this is something that oftentimes happens to people that are doing a lot of cold email. Over time, Google will start going to recognize them as spam because they're just blasting out so much volume, so many emails, and no one ever replies that, down the line, they're going to start thinking that you are in fact just a spammer. Whereas for us, because we are getting a higher percentage of people actually replying, we feel from Google's eyes that we're significantly more legitimate, and that keeps our domain healthier for a longer time. Now, later in this section, I'll also go through a bit more about how to keep your email deliverability strong. Now, if you move into step 2, the rest of this cadence is me just trying to bump up the initial message. Hey, should I send over that free video course? Should I send over that free lead magnet? Whatever it is that you want to provide, just reply yes, send it over. Now, the third step is actually me just giving them the link to the asset, because if they haven't opted in, if they haven't replied yes, I still want them to get it. So I'll just give it to them. And here's me essentially building an argument as to what it is that they'll learn and see value out of it. And essentially in the body of the email, I'll just try to provide them a bit of context as to why they should consume it. Because listen, even if they don't respond, even if all they did was go through the free content, I know that content is impactful enough that in and of itself, it's going to be helpful for me to grow my reputation, build my brand, add value, and hopefully get them to trust me more. And then the final step is me just giving like a Hail Mary pitch. Hey, I've sent you all this content. Do you want to book a call? Because at this point, I'm going to kill the campaign anyways. It's going to end on the fourth step, so I might as well give it a shot. So clearly, my campaign is really built around this idea of offering value and providing some sort of lead magnet or free course that will get people to indoctrinate themselves into your methodology and believe that you're an expert. So if you haven't actually done that yet, or if you want to hear a bit more information about that entire concept, then either click into the video that explains that, which will be posted here, or just go to the section of the ultimate course, which talks all about the lead magnet, which should be a bit earlier. Now, how do you launch this campaign? Well, you can obviously upload from a CSV all the emails that you have and just click launch. And we've talked in the past and in other videos about how you can actually extract and get the email information that you need for your ideal prospects. Over the course of time, people will start replying back to you. And the nice thing about reply is that you can actually have all of the conversations in the inbox here, and you can manage it all in one go. And if you want, you can even attach multiple email inboxes to your reply account so that you can have more sending. Now, I spoke a bit earlier about deliverability, and deliverability is really important because you want to make sure that a really high percentage of your emails are actually going to the inbox of your clients. Because if they go to the spam section or if they go to the social section, usually people won't even see it. And like I showed you before here, it's really important that you do have a high open rate, because it doesn't matter how good your email is if no one even sees it. So the question is, how do you actually make sure that your email deliverability is solid? So there's a couple methods, all right? So where you can go with settings and then email accounts, and then you can click into the email accounts, and then you can actually set up the safety settings, which will essentially be limits on how many emails you're sending per day. And really, you don't want to be going overboard. I would actually say that if you have a relatively new account, you don't even want to go over 20 emails per day. In the same way, you want to set up some rules in terms of how many emails per minute that you'd send. I probably wouldn't send out more than 1 email per minute. Now, the other thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that all of your emails are verified, because whenever you're building email lists, some percentage of them are going to be bad emails. Whether that email no longer works, the domain is broken, or maybe that person doesn't work at that company anymore. And in that case, every time you send an email and it bounces, it also hurts your domain health. So in this case, the best thing that you can do is run all of your email lists through ClearOut so that you can actually find what percentage of them are actually deliverable. And I've spoken about this in more depth in any of my videos that talk about lead list building. So, refer to that if you want to get more in depth about that. But this is one of the things that you should probably do. Another thing that you're going to want to do is warm up your email account if it's relatively new, because Google will actually look at an older account that has a lot of activity and history on it as being more reputable than a brand new account. So if you're making a brand new account to run your emails out of, then you're going to want to make sure that it's warmed up. And warming it up essentially means that you just have a bunch of emails going in and out of it. Now, the easiest thing that you can do is just connect and integrate your email account to a tool such as Lemwarm, and Lemwarm will automatically just send emails to and from your new account so that it starts having a little bit of history and activity, and it looks good. The other thing that I like about Lemwarm is that as soon as you plug it in, you can actually do a quick check to see if there's anything wrong with your domain. So you're going to want to have all of these green check marks essentially. And oftentimes when you're setting up a brand new email domain or a brand new email account, some of these might be yellow or orange because you're missing them. For example, SPF, DKIM, DMARC. Sometimes these will be incorrect on a new email account. So if you have this problem, then you're gonna have some pretty poor deliverability. Now, this gets a little bit technical in order to fix. Like personally, I don't even know how to fix some of these technical SPKF DMARC issues. So I actually just pay someone to do it for me. So normally I would just go on Fiverr and find someone for a relatively small amount of money, and they can normally just go and log into your domain hosting, and they can just set all that type of stuff up for you, okay? I will say it would be advisable for you to not use your main email domain as you're sending. Because let's say you actually have an email domain that you've been using for a while, and it's where your website is hosted, and it's the real email that you're using day to day. You don't want to be doing your outreach out of that email, because if you mess up that domain due to breaking outreach rules, then you've essentially messed up your good domain, which you kind of need to have good. So for me, whenever I'm doing outreach, I'm using like other variations of my domain. So my main website is attractandscale.com. So I don't use that for outreach. I use attractandscale.io, I use attractandscale.biz, I use attractandscale.co. So get those domains, set up the DKIM, SPF, DMARC, set up the emails, and then if you need to have a higher volume of emails, then just set up multiple domains and have multiple emails per domain, right? So that is essentially the way that I deploy email.